A very good morning to you from myself, the Office van Rensburg Linster, and the professor sitting way back in the south. South for me. I don't know how he's located for you. Terence Martin, good morning, sire.
Good morning, Theo, and I profess to know Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior.
That's the
Professor.
that's the professor. Thank you so very very much, Terry, for being here, and thank you, listeners, for joining us on joining us on this particular moment every Monday through to Friday morning at 7 a.m. You are on the fifth connection, and we are thankful this morning for you taking your time and spending that with us. We're turning a page this morning into a new chapter, and I'll let Terry explain that shortly. It is Tuesday. It is the first day of October 2024. And Terence was saying earlier in our time that we spend pre-broadcast, that time is flying. That is so true. Well, a very good morning to you once again, and thank you for spending your time with us. Terry, I was reading from the letter of the Apostle Paul to the Colossians, as we've sort of jumped from Jerry's journal to curiosities in Colossians, I almost would want to say. I'm going to let you explain that to us. Thank you so much for being here with us. Terry?
It was 3 years after my birth. The year was 1961. And the singer on the horizon was Elvis Presley. And he sang a song, the lines of which went, "Wise men say, only fools rush in." You know the rest of the words, but I can't help falling in love with you. And a great love song. But those first two lines are quite potent. Wise men say. What is it about wise men that captivates us, that captivates our thinking, that grabs our attention? Well, here's a story that unfolds in a letter, the 9th letter that Paul writes, that Paul pens, is the letter to the Colossian followers of the way. And what is beautiful of the way the letter unfolds is that it's about addressing problems within that believing community, but it's a lot more than that. We don't only write letters when or send emails when there are problems on the horizon, but it's a way of communicating. It's a way of keeping a relationship alive. And Paul's genius at letter writing was keeping relationships alive. Because you see, relationships are dynamic things. If they are static, they will die. They die on the vine. But a dynamic relationship is nurtured. The fires are kindled. And to keep good relationships going is like building a fire in the rain. If you've never done so, try doing it. And keeping that fire going. Well, we are going to look at a higher level order of thinking. One step up, because that is what wisdom thinking is about. It's not low order thinking. It's not middle order thinking. It's high order thinking. And wisdom is not something that you can grab a hold of and make it your own possession. It's something you reach for. And it will cost you your life in pursuit of it. And so this particular unfolding story is about wising up on the way. I've stated it that way because the pun is intended. Jesus is the true and living way. John 14, verse 6. And this way is explained throughout the book of John, the Gospel of John. And then into the book of Acts, 9 times, Paul mentions the way. I persecuted the followers of the way. I persecuted the way. It's only twice in the New Testament scriptures that believers are described as Christian or Christians. Christianoi, Christianos. They were the butt of jokes. They were called little Christs, and it was a pejorative term. It was an objectionable term of derision to ridicule this people group. Well, a follower of the way is a very interesting person and should be, because the Christian life is about a way of living. It's not about 10 rules, 2 techniques, 5 methods, 3 secrets, 1 dare, D-A-R-E. It's a way of living. Like a river flows. Like the river flows, that song says, to the sea. There's something about the flow of a river that is fascinating. And life's like that. Reality is like that. All is in flux. Everything flows. The hardest object is in a flow state. And the Christian life, no less, is described as something that flows. And so when you look at especially the 13 letters of Paul across his lifetime, and as it unfolds in the book of Acts, you see that he goes on 3 missionary journeys that each has a length of 2, 3, and 4 years. And then he suffers some imprisonments. He's under house arrest. He's jailed. He does jail time. Something about jail time that is fascinating. We've got one of our key leaders now in the government of national unity who's come out of jail. Our former president, Nelson Mandela, did jail time. He was incarcerated for 27 years. Don't you think there's something significant about someone doing jail time? Gayton McKenzie is a voice to be listened to, and is now on the scene. And our prayer is that he would do justice to the position that he has, fulfilling his role. At the moment, he's the sports minister. And so Paul is incarcerated, and he writes these letters. He writes 4 letters while in incarceration. It's the book of Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, and Philemon. In the Cape, we would say Philemon, right? Philemon, however you want to pronounce that. They are 4 pieces of communication. They are 4 communiques that unfold a storyline. Because remember, the scriptures is written as an unfolding story. It begins with a tale in the garden, Eden, and ends with the city of gold, the garden of God in Revelation 21 and 22. So Paul writes these letters out of a deep concern for the people of God. And he writes to the city, the believers in the city of Colossae. Now, Colossae is to be found in Asia Minor. It's a city that historically was located in the Lycus Valley. If you were to hit Ephesus from the coast, go 160 kilometers to the east through the Lycus Valley, and you'll descend around a bend that goes down south, and on that bend would be the city of Colossae. It's present day Honaz, Honaz, in modern day Turkey. And this storyline is biographically related to the storyline in the book of Philemon. So the city is located historically, geographically in Turkey, modern day Turkey. Its storyline is biographically related to Philemon. And when you study these two books together, you get a more full orb picture of the complexion of the believers that he writes to. Its storyline is not only historically located and biographically related, but it is thematically related to the storyline of the book of Ephesians. So Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, and Philemon hang together. And thematically, Colossians is closest to the book of Ephesians. Ephesians talks about how to play your position, how the assembly plays its position in the world in which it lives. Note I say assembly. That's the word ecclesia. When the assembly is gathered, it has a particular complexion to it, and when it is scattered, it also has a distinctive complexion to it. So the city is historically located, it's biographically related, thematically connected to the story of the book of Ephesians, and then its storyline is sapientially focused on Jesus. Something that is sapient is something that carries a wisdom element. Sapiential knowledge is wisdom knowledge. So sapientially, it focuses on Jesus as the only appropriate fountainhead for the assembly. He's the head of the assembly. That's the church worldwide. He's the fountainhead. All of life springs from him. And he's the embodiment of all wisdom and knowledge. And then he's also the one who effects our standing with God because of his death and resurrection. And so shall we transform in the context of our social contract as we relate to ourselves, our families, our local assemblies, and as we relate to the world. That's what the social contract comprises. And so Jesus is the fountainhead of the assembly. He is the one who embodies wisdom and knowledge. And as we track through these 4 chapters, we are going to find what we call a heuristic. A tool for discovery is a heuristic. And this tool is a wisdom tool. Wisdom is a heuristic. It is a level order of thinking, and it's a higher level order of thinking. There's been a lot of talk over the past 20 years or so about life orientation as a subject in the school curriculum in South Africa. And one of the goals of life orientation is higher ordered thinking, high ordered thinking. Well, that is quite a challenge. To get learners to do high order thinking is no small thing. Well, as the people of God, our challenge is right in there. How do we cultivate high order thinking amongst the people of God? Well, these believers are challenged with 2 things. Number 1, why is there such a dearth of wisdom today? Why is there such a dearth of wisdom? What is wisdom? Wisdom is skillful living. It is wisdom skills. I remember Theo and I, we created a tool over 30 years ago called the Life Skills Portfolio. Long before it dawned on educators and curriculum developers in the school, in this country, that life orientation was quite a significant subject. Because you see, wisdom has to do with life skill. Know how. To know what to do, when to do it, the appropriacy of the moment. That's what it's about. And this book is chock full of a wisdom heuristic, a wisdom higher ordered kind of thinking to know what to do and to when to do it, and in what context to execute it. So, why is there such a dearth of wisdom today? And then, secondly, where are the wise elders? Not where have all the flowers gone? Long years passing, says that commercial song. Where have all the wise men and the wise women gone? Why is there such a dearth of sagacity? Why is there such a dearth of sages? Men and women who are sagacious, they have a wisdom skill set. And that's where this book is going to land in terms of wising up on the way. Back to you, Theo.
Thank you so very much for this introduction, Terry. This Reaching for Wisdom is what this station is all about. For those of you who've joined us this morning, thank you so very, very, very much. As I mentioned, we've turned a page. It's a new part of the story. And I like the way Terence explains that when we read the scripture, it is an unfolding story. Thank you so much for joining us. We are back tomorrow morning, concluding this introduction, answering these two crucial questions that Terry's had there. Why is there such a dearth of wisdom today? And where are all the wise elders or the wise leaders? God bless you today. Terry, thank you so very much, brother, for starting us off on this new chapter. Exciting. Appreciate that. And we're playing out with a song called Perfect Wisdom of God.
Thank you, Theo. Thank you, listeners.